It's finally cool in Texas. We are going to be planting some cilantro, one of my favorite herbs. I have some seeds here and also some seeds that I saved from last year that we're going to plant together in my garden. I've got some containers to plant and also planting directly in the soil. Let's get started. It's very peaceful out here in the garden today. How's your fall gardening going in your area? Do you live somewhere where you can plant a fall garden or cool season crops? If so, does it freeze in your area? What kind of herbs and vegetables are you growing right now? Plants are so good at regenerating themselves. So it's kind of amazing that most people pull these out before they get a chance to go to flower. Of course, we want, as much of the herbs as we can get, but these flowers are also so beautiful. They're one of the first to start to bloom in the spring, and they really help the pollinators out. The plant itself is cilantro, and these seeds are called coriander. First, we're going to take some of our seeds and plant them into the container. This is a greenstock vertical garden. You can get them on greenstock.com or epicgardening.com. These need to be 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm just going to sprinkle them on top where I want them. There are other plants growing in here as well, and they can just fight it out. There's a lot of cool season greens and things growing in here. And I've grown cilantro in here before. It's easy to access because it's right through my kitchen door. I have 30 pockets. I love having perennial herbs, and in addition to that, I'll plant annuals and just whatever I want, especially things that I want to access really easily for the kitchen. I'm also going to plant more of these soon in other parts of the yard. I'm just going to sprinkle them in where I'm interested in having some. There's already other stuff growing. I've already added new potting mix to these. So I'm just going to let it grow all over. It can grow as much as it wants in here. I'm going to push them into the soil slightly and then rough up the soil just a tiny bit. So pretty easy. I'm trying to do this around the other plants so that I'm not disturbing everything too much. And this smells really good because there's a lot of mint in here. So now I'm just looking for them. If I can see them, I'm just trying to push them a little bit under the soil. Yeah, so not too much to it. And it's still a little bit wet from watering it yesterday. But just because I put new seeds in here, I'll probably water it just a tiny bit on top as well. I'm just constantly adding to this, and I just add a little bit more soil with more nutrition to it and never really change out the soil completely. So I have perennials and annuals always in here. Look at this lemon balm. It's going crazy. I'm going to have to harvest a lot of that soon. A lot of mint, lemon balm, and other things that I wanted to keep contained, but also things that I use, mostly herbs. And in the cool season, a lot of different lettuces, kales, things like that. And obviously right now, planting the cilantro. Here's a tiny little strawberry, some other cool season greens mix growing in. Just planted last night some chocolate mint. My favorite mints are chocolate mint, spearmint, and peppermint. I'm just going to add a little bit of water. I'm also going to go plant these in the soil. All right, let's go look for a good spot. I recently planted a whole bunch of cover crops. So this was pretty empty. And then also a bunch of potatoes in this little trench along the fence. And they're all coming up. I have potatoes coming up everywhere. I'm just going to move a little bit of the mulch out of the way. I can tell a lot of these are just weeds, or I consider them weeds, and I can get rid of those. They're just tiny little sprouts on the surface. And let's do some cilantro right here. So I'm going to sprinkle my seeds. It's way more than I need, but that way hopefully enough of them will survive. And then I can just use this to rough it back up again, because they don't need to be very, very deep. I'm going to try and do the least amount of soil disturbance I can. This soil is great. The sun is really bright on it right now, but if you look, it's very dark brown. All right, so I mostly can't see them anymore. And I can even put a tiny amount of mulch over it. I'm gonna just water that in, and that's it for this area. If you'd like to grow a garden regeneratively and get your own organic food, we'd love to have you over in our Skool community. Click below. It's free to join right now. See you there.